Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back into Doctor Who coverage because, well, we got some new information here. Okay, in regards to some of the more controversial choices of Series 14, the maiden voyage of the 15th Doctor. We had those two weird episodes in the middle of the season, right? The truncated season, obviously. It was 6 episodes. I'm sorry, my mistake. It was a 2-part finale. Yeah, so it was 8 episodes. 8 episodes, my mistake. But 2 of those episodes, Boom and 73 Yards, were incredibly light on the Doctor. And it's kind of interesting, right? Because it's such a short season. Okay, and in the season where, as the new Doctor, his first and arguably most important season, you would want to establish a tone and tenor, but he was basically absent for 2 of the 8 episodes of the first season. The hell's behind that? I could understand if you wanted to tell a story and establish the companion that you would end up going on to replace in the next season. Nobody knew that confirmed at the time. So yeah, you could have one rather Dr. Light episode, and that would be fine. Not Dr. Light in the Mega Man sense of the term, but you know, have him off doing something else, setting up the next episode, but instead you had Boom, where he showed up, stepped on something, and was completely gone from that episode. And then when it came to 73 Yards, okay, what we're going to be talking about right here, the second episode that he was completely gone from, minus, 30 seconds of screen time, it was because he was off filming something else. What are we talking about? Ncuti Gatwa's first Dr. Light episode of Doctor Who happened because of sex education. I'm sorry, what? Aren't you supposed to take that in 4th grade? But, no. That's interesting, right? Because you have somebody who was filming another show at the time that he's the Doctor. Could you imagine any other Doctor pulling the stunt? Could you imagine David Tennant back when he was the 10th Doctor, right? Putting a pause on his first season going, "Oi, I gotta go ahead and I gotta go film something else real quick. You just go ahead and you just fill in, you just do a Dawn episode. Don't worry about it. It'll all be great. It'll all be fine." Or Matt Smith saying, I got this casting call for this Morbius film. I'll be right back here real quick. No, that doesn't happen. But I thought Ncuti Gatwa took this very seriously. Okay, he was going to be breaking glass ceilings. He was going to be the first short, gay, black Rwandan Doctor. And that was going to be very important. But it wasn't important enough to make it his top priority? Is that what we're talking about here? The Dr. Light has become a common parlance in contemporary Doctor Who, an episode that, born out of scheduling or the general rigors of a season of television show where the lead actor is in almost all of it all the time. Yes, it would be very, very difficult for Ncuti to be there for all 8 episodes, right? Where the Doctor is largely absent from the episode, but Ncuti Gatwa's first season of the Doctor nearly didn't have one. Yeah, they had 2 until the other TV show made it necessary at the time, and Gatwa was officially cast as the new Doctor. The actor was still wrapping work on the final season of Netflix's Sex Education. I've never heard of that before in my entire life, where he played a breakout queer character. Oh wow, what range of Ncuti Gatwa? Who could have imagined he would have got cast in such a complex role like the Doctor when he has just showed his range in other roles, like being a breakout queer character. Okay, fantastic. Casting Ncuti meant casting him before he'd finish on Sex Education. That was the risk that we took, but it was absolutely the right risk. Yeah, we've seen the ratings, and we've also seen the audience response to his version of the Doctor. Well, I've got it pulled up, right? Because we've got Doctor Who TV and their ratings on what were the best episodes. And I use the term best incredibly loosely because you can see average voter score, average audience score, and you have your 3rd best episode of the season being 73 Yards, what we're talking about being the Dr. Light episode. First of 2 being rated better than all but 5 episodes. But that's not all. The other Dr. Light episode, Boom, was regarded as the best episode. So you tell me, Russell T. Davies, it was the best decision, obviously, the right risk to take, because it meant we got the best possible Doctor in 2024 that we could wish for. Well, that clearly didn't end up panning out. That gamble that you took, obviously, you bet on black and it hit red. But in taking that risk, Davies found himself needing to work around Gatwa's availability, which led him to return to the idea that he couldn't get the click with the Doctor companion team, but one that would work far stronger if the Doctor was absent for most of the episode, eventually becoming the 4th episode of the season, 73 yards. I love a Doctor Light episode. But let's face it, if Ncuti had been available, we would have never done a Doctor Light episode in season 1. That's very interesting. We had plans, but diversity superseded our plans, so we just went and scrapped it. It's almost like we didn't really have a plan for this outside of forcing our own personal agenda into it. Weird. And the marvelous thing was, I had this idea kicking around for ages that the Doctor and his companion stepping outside the TARDIS and seeing someone in the distance, but I could never make it work. Well, you didn't with 73 yards anyways. Oh, with 2 people. So when it came to a Dr. Light, when it was just Ruby, and we were able to follow her whole life, it sort of freed itself. Yeah, really followed her whole life, where you just showed, hey, there's somebody that's standing really far away using hand gestures and just pointing at me. And then you ended up revealing that it's your mom pointing at a sign that she would eventually name you after. Very silly. In a way, it provides... So that's also interesting, right? Because that was ultimately what played around in the finale. Because the overarching story of this season, right? It was all centered around the... No. It wasn't centered around the Doctor at all. It was all about the companion as to who Ruby Sunday really is. And it just turns out that she's a nobody that was dropped off by just some common Jezebel. How fantastic, right? In a way, it provided an interesting run of episodes. Interesting's one way to put it, for Gatwa and the similarly freshly incoming Millie Gibson in the middle of their debut season. Boom was an episode that largely leaned on putting Gatwa in the spotlight via a mine the Doctor accidentally stepped on and couldn't step off. Yeah, it led to him not being in much of the episode, by the way. Why don't you highlight that? That was then followed by Gibson's leading turn in 73 yards. And then after that, Dot and Bubble, where, yeah, the duo only appeared in person during the episode's climactic scene, where, yeah, the Doctor's trying to save everybody, but they wouldn't go with him because he's black. I wish I was joking. Given that 73 yards and Boom were arguably the standout episodes of Gatwa and Gibson's first season of the show, it was definitely a risk worth taking. And you're not really saying the quiet part out loud, Gizmodo. The best reviewed, and again, I'll use that term incredibly loosely, were the episodes devoid of Ncuti Gatwa. But I find that to be incredibly interesting, especially how that's ultimately going to have knock-on effects for series 15 rather. Is he going to have any other commitments that he's going to need to fulfill? Okay, did that end up working its way into the filming schedule, which is still underway, or did they finally wrap on that? Not entirely sure, but if you're so inclined, you can head on down to London Comic-Con this winter, the 16th and the 17th of November. You can go down and meet such luminaries as Lysa Arryn, Tom Savini, which would actually be pretty cool to go out there and meet. Other people, I apologize, don't ring any bells, but Ncuti Gatwa apparently is going to be the lead guest. And, well, he's going to be there, for the entire weekend? We can go ahead and take a look at the schedule that he's going to have right there. And, brother, it is something that's going to be amazing, because you can go down there. You can head on down to Olympia. You can head on up to London if you're in the area. Meet the 15th Doctor. You can be treated to a buffet of options, because if you want an autograph for the Doctor, you can shill out £125. If you'd like it doesn't even look like you can get the autograph anymore. It looks like it's sold out. Demand must be high. I would imagine you could get a photo shoot for $95. That's fantastic. You could get a green screen photo shoot where you could also be inside the TARDIS standing next to the Doctor, I'm sure, for a mere $110. Or you could talk with him for $20. I'm sorry, what? You can talk with him for $20. Seems a little bit absurd. Then again, you can get the entire pass for $295. What an absolute fraud. Kind of like the Doctor himself. But holy crap, if he's going to be there for the entire weekend doing a meet and greet with all of his fans, literally dozens of people, I'm sure, are going to show up for this one. But by the end of the weekend, he will probably be doing that longer than he's ever going to be the Doctor. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. One should follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.